Welcome everybody back to the Real Play Podcast. This is your girl Ciera.
And it's Ebony. I don't know why I
Yes.
said my name like that.
You just felt like singing it. It's all good. It's all good. So today we are going to have a multi-topic episode. We haven't done one of these in a while, but there's just a few things
hmm
that are on our minds that we wanted to talk about. So let's do it.
Let's get it.
Let's dive right in. So the first topic that came to my mind this morning, because I was at work and I was like, let me just go ahead and start writing down some topics. I'm not going to start with what happened at work today because I don't want to bring my blood pressure up right now. But I remember listening to the articles this morning. I'm listening to the podcast this morning. And when I got to work, I was like, why is Krispy Kreme giving away free donuts? Like, why are we doing this? So, in case you haven't heard, Krispy Kreme has been giving away free donut for anyone that's vaccinated or partially vaccinated.
Okay.
Um, that's been going on since the vaccination started, right?
So you gotta walk in, show your card, or drive through, show your card, and then
Mhm.
you'll get free donuts.
Of
Is,
one,
is it?
it's one free donut per day. So if you're greedy, you want to go to all the different Krispy Kremes, you can do that. It's nationwide.
I'm
Get
thinking
one free donut.
you're talking about like a box, like they're giving out boxes of
That
what you
don't
get.
make it. That don't even make it any better. I ain't even done yet. I'm not even done. So that's been going on since the vaccine started, which was
Okay.
when did they start vaccinating people? I don't even remember when the general public, but a few months, right?
hmm
So now, starting today through next week, the 5th of September,
Okay.
you will not only get your original glaze, but you'll also get a heart-shaped glazed donut, which I thought was really cute on the website when I saw it. But what it said was, it said, enjoy your original glaze, share your heart donut with a friend or family member, and be sweet to the community. And
Mm.
I was like, wait a minute. So outside of all these other things that they're trying to get us to do to persuade people to get vaccinated, they know we're money hungry, so they're doing these lotteries. They know that
hmm
people like free stuff, free food, so they're giving them some unhealthy food that's going to lower the strength of their immune system,
I didn't even think
i.e.,
about that.
donuts. So you're like, they only give it one. They don't need to give one. Like, why isn't Panera out here saying, hey, free salads for everyone that's vaccinated, something healthy that's going to help your immune system, right? And then my friend's like, no one's going to go to go get a free salad. Some people may, but the majority of people,
I'll go get free salad.
they want something sweet. They want a donut.
You know what, too? Guess what? The majority of the black community goes to Krispy Kreme. So if that's your target audience, the ones that need to get vaccinated the most, I'm just making this up. I don't know. I haven't read the numbers, but you say Krispy Kreme. Nobody's going to Dunkin' for donuts. So
I'm about to say I don't go to either. I don't I don't do
I mean, I
Krispy
do like a
Kreme.
couple of their donuts.
But if I'm going to get a donut, I guess I would go to District Donuts in DC. They're
I
like
was going to
five.
ask where that was, but you answered.
It's in DC. It is $5 each, but they're worth every bite.
For one donut?
Yes, gourmet. I love their what's it called? Creme brulee donut. But
Mm-hmm.
when we went last Sunday, I got the peanut butter marshmallow donut. So the inside is marshmallow, and then it's got like this peanut butter marshmallow topping. But that's beside the point. That is
Sounds
an
good though.
unhealthy thing to eat. So it just bothers me. First it was one donut, now it's two donuts. It's like you're not helping the situation. Like you're teasing somebody with something that's not healthy for them when right now everyone should be trying to boost their immune system so that they can not only use the antibodies from the vaccine shot but also their own natural antibodies to fight off whatever may happen. But you trying to tell them to get some free donuts. And the sad thing is, I don't want to say poor people, but people who just aren't as health conscious, they're gonna be like, "Oh snap! I want me a donut."
Well, yes. And I also think that they're thinking like, how can we help, right? How can we get people to go and get vaccinated? I don't necessarily think like for me personally, a donut doesn't like warrant me to be like, oh yes, gotta go get vaccinated so I can get this Krispy Kreme donut. No, but like you said, if you're hungry, if I don't have any money, I can go get this free vaccine.
And you got a sugar addiction, or you love
True.
sweets, or you just love fried food, it can be enough to get you to do it. But the goal isn't really, for the thing for me isn't that they're giving them away for free. It's more so like, why is the United States not looking at ways to tell people how to increase their immune system instead of giving them ways to make it worse? And making it worse through sugar. Sugar is addictive, can cause all these ailments, diabetes already in, so many different um, races are hit hard with diabetes, not just Black people, but especially Native Americans. Um, we don't need to add sugar to our lives. Sugar is
Mm-hmm.
secretly in so many other different things. Now, don't get me wrong. I did make 2 cheesecakes yesterday, but they weren't for me and I didn't eat them. And I love a good sugar, but I'm more of a salty person. So now if they said, come to movies and you get a free bag of popcorn, sis will be like, wait a minute. Like I'm gonna be like this. I'm gonna be like in my chair back and forth rocking, like, should I get that popcorn? Should I get that popcorn? But sweets don't do it to me. So that was one of the things that I thought about this morning. Like, yo, the United
Yeah.
States got to do better.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, where's the other free food? Like, I'm sure other places are giving out free food based on if you get a vaccination or not. I don't know.
I have not heard of any healthy places, is what, from what I can think of. I haven't heard of anything that's healthy. I have not heard, and Panera Bread was like, I just thought about them because they're semi fast food
Mm-hmm.
ish. They got drive-throughs now. It's amazing. But I have not heard of anybody giving any type of healthy thing, or even like getting people to gamble, getting people to get in a lottery. If you get in this lottery, you may win $1 million because you got vaccinated. That's gambling. Like, why can't we do
Right,
something?
you giving people addictions. Ooh, all right.
So many states were doing that. So it's like there's so many, to me, negative things that they're doing to entice people when they could be doing other things, and let the
Very
people just make
positive. Yeah.
make them let them make their own choices with what they want to do with their body, but don't be like, okay, let me bring another negative thing into their lives.
Well, I mean, this is the only, I mean, I haven't lived during a pandemic, right? But this is the only circumstance where I feel like people are very interested in what you know with your body. Like, I get it. We all want to be outside. We all want to make sure everyone is vaccinated. We all want to return back to normal. But at a certain point, to me, and I've said this before when we first talked about vaccinations, is that my body, my choice. Y'all holler my body, my choice with everything else. I don't think you should be checking everything about somebody's body as far as a vaccination. Like, do you check and see if I have the flu vaccination? Do
Mm-hmm.
you check and see if I had my Tdap? Do you check and see if I done went to the and my vitamin D levels are up to par? No, you do not check for those things. So I don't feel like, sometimes people overstep is what I'm saying in this case, and they just do the most.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
And
These
I
places.
get it. Like, I've had friends, and I've even told friends, I'm like, okay, I'll decide when I want to get something, right? But don't, try to. I think, like, in any circumstances when you're trying to make somebody do something, it doesn't really go over well
Mm-hmm.
most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that um everybody makes the best decision for them, and I'm definitely minding my business. That's all.
Minding your business, girl. That's what we need to do. Minding our business. And speaking of minding our business, I couldn't mind my business when I saw all of those videos of these people walking on these crates.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say talk about Kanye West album, but yeah,
You
the
want to
crate.
talk? You can talk. We can talk about Kanye if that's where you want to go with it.
Well, first of all, I listen to. I'm not a Kanye West fan, really, and when I say really, like a couple of songs like "Good Life," I'm into that. I'm not like, oh my god, I love every single album. Like, I may listen to a few songs that he's in,
Mm-hmm.
right? However, just perusing on social media, looking at things about this album, one, he pushed it back a lot of times. He seemed to spend a lot of money on this album before it even came out.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I saw, his label just released, they probably was tired of him and was just like, come out with this album. You costing us money, And so they
Mm-hmm.
just released it. Um, there's plenty of people who are happy, with this album release. He didn't even list the features. So
Mm-hmm.
he had every song pretty much had a feature on it, and then he didn't list it. But I think people on Twitter, and they end up releasing who was on the album.
Mm-hmm.
But then there were people who weren't happy. Like maybe people were left off the album. People who were originally on the album
Mm-hmm.
was not. They stole. I forgot her name. I think her name is like Brie or something. But they stole her, not her vocals, but they kind of emulated her vocals and put it on the album. So she doesn't get credit for that. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of uh, commentary around this particular album. So I think I don't know. I think it's interesting, but some of the things he does is kind of weird to me. Like him having his wife in a dress. Are y'all getting divorced or you're not getting divorced? I mean, again, I'm gonna mind my business, but if y'all are in the business of getting divorced, isn't it kind of weird that you have your wife show up in a wedding gown?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's things like that. And then apparently he recreated his childhood home, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice, right? You think of you like, oh, but then he also set himself on fire. And then it's just weird to me. He's talking about God in all of these songs too. And I love Jesus. I love God. But sometimes I feel like you might be misleading people.
So we all know that Kanye has had some bouts with mental illness. He's been open
Mm-hmm.
with that since the passing of his mother. So what he does doesn't surprise me anymore. I have not seen, I haven't heard anything on his album except for I was online and I heard the baby had like a little quick little rap about how people were canceling him. And I was
Mm.
like, yo, that was kind of a little fire, little verse. It was only like 20 seconds. That's all I heard of the whole album. I didn't watch anything. I'm not a Kanye fan, so I didn't watch, or I'm not a new Kanye fan. I would be a old school Kanye fan. But yeah, so what he does doesn't surprise me. However, the part about him and God, so we did talk about this in my discipleship class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is what he's doing, is it real? Is it fake? Is he like, what's his real motives?
Right.
Um, and the consensus of the class and my feelings too is that I think that he really did find God. And
Okay.
I think that he really truly can be a vessel for those people who would never go to church, who would never listen to regular gospel music or contemporary gospel music or anything like that. Like I feel like he can reach those that need to be reached.
I think that's great. I think he should. But I also think sometimes his message doesn't become clear unless he's stating it. Like me just hearing, I mean, I didn't look at it to see that he's burning himself. I need to know, like, can you put some commentary behind it? Tell me why. Like, tell me what made you put your house up or Kim in a wedding dress. Like, I know the part of art is to leave it up to interpretation,
Right.
but sometimes you do need a backstory, you know, for me personally.
And so maybe he might be coming out with that later. Maybe he
Maybe.
wants, maybe knowing him, he wants the buzz of, hey, what was Kanye thinking? What was he doing? What does this signify? And what's the symbolism of this and that. He's going to be talked about until he's ready for people to know. And that's if he ever is ready. It might be better for him to just leave it like that. Like, yeah, I burned myself and what? What do y'all
Yeah.
think that meant?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And when you're creative and I don't even want to know what you have to do to go deep into that mindset, but you do everything. I mean, I wouldn't personally put myself on fire. That's
hmm
just me.
hmm I mean, I think if I was wearing one of those like
Mm-mm.
those them suits and it's not gonna burn me,
Well, he was wearing one of the suits.
I might
However, like
try
I'm not that of interest. No,
it.
I love my life too much. Like one little slip, I'm not a firefighter on
Right.
purpose.
Well, hopefully they had some people there.
Yeah,
I
true.
don't know. Okay. But yeah, so going back, so what I originally was saying that I couldn't keep my eyes off wasn't Donda. That's
Yeah,
right. That's the name of it. It came out today. I don't know.
a couple of days ago, I think.
Yeah. It wasn't that. My thing was this whole crate challenge and watching so many different people attempt the crate challenge, and it would be so close, like, oh, he about to make it, she about to make it, and then wobble, wobble, wobble down to the ground. I don't know who came up with this, but it is
Bored in the house.
one of the dumbest things that you could be out there trying to do. And half of them been hitting the ground so hard. And I was told like each crate is about a foot.
Mm-hmm.
So the highest point I think is like 7. So you 7 feet in the air, and that's usually when people fall, like the 6 or the right before the top or right after the top. So you 6 or 7 feet tall, like I'm 5'3". So you taller than me off the ground, and you're hitting the ground, and there's no like playpen under you or no mats or nothing.
It's probably
So
painful.
yeah, I see a lot of our people. I'm sure other people are doing it, but what I've only seen on social media is our people up there looking crazy. So I hope that this challenge ends very soon before more people end up in the hospital, broken bones, ribs, a mess, like concussions. I'm surprised no one's like fallen on their neck yet, because it's just like they just fall, like they just hit the ground. But for the sister who did it in heels,
I saw her. Kudos to you.
I'm not convinced that it was done. I'm not convinced that those crates were not somehow secured together. But if they
I,
weren't and you really did that, I've got to clap for you.
I didn't look that deep, but
You can't tell. But I'm just like, how come no one else can do this? But all of a sudden she going up in the crates with her heels on, and then she's going one way and another girl's going another way, and they meet in the middle and cross over. How are you
I
doing
didn't see
that?
that video.
Nobody else has been able to do it by themselves, and you can do it with heels and then with a friend. Something up with them crates. Them crates are stuck together, they tied together, something. But if it's not, more power to you, my sister.
Well, what I would say about the crate challenge is it is dangerous.
Very.
Let's start there. However, I grew up in the South, and we used to do dangerous stuff all the time. Climb trees until I found out snakes was in the trees. Get on hay bales and, try to run across those. So it's just like entertainment, but I think it's dangerous now because so many people are watching and young kids, and anybody can try this challenge. I mean, I'm pretty sure, my parents weren't watching me when I was climbing trees and running over hay barrels, but I'm pretty sure they didn't want me to. And so I think that we do have to be cautious to not just try to put all of this dangerous stuff out, and kids are doing it, and
just to get likes.
crazy. Just to get likes, and because one thing we do is we set the culture. So if we do one thing, somebody is bound to follow. So don't be out here on these crates at 30 and 40. It's not the same. It's not the same. The bounce back is not the same.
It is not the same. That's why I ain't never even gonna try that. No, I'll go ahead, put me in a suit and let me set it on fire. Cool, I'm on the ground.
But I ain't trying to crash.
I ain't going up on no. I am too heavy. I will hit the ground too hard.
Man, that is not.
Not gonna do it. So if you had to pick between one or the other, which one would you do? You had to pick.
Crate challenge all day. Put me up on top. Put me in, coach. I'm good for it.
People's legs be shaking and stuff. I'd be like, oh gosh, nah.
I'm good for it. I probably would be okay with it.
Okay. All right. So on to the next topic. All right. I gotta tell you about this. This is. Oh wait, do I want to start there? No. Okay, we're gonna go to cuffing season. That's where we're gonna go next.
Ooh.
Okay, because it's still summer. The days are getting shorter, so it's like 7:30 and it's starting to look a little not as bright anymore. It used to be sunny till like 9. So we know the days are getting shorter. And as the days get shorter, we get closer to the cool weather, the cuffing season, all of that. People want to find somebody to snuggle up with. So with that being said, how often has it happened to you where you haven't talked to a guy for a really long time, months, maybe a year, whatever, and then you just think about him or you talk about him to somebody else and all of a sudden he just hits you up? Does that happen to you?
I don't think so. No. No, that does not happen to me. I feel like I have this like one little stalker that keeps appearing every single like couple of months. But other than that, I'm good. Yeah, it doesn't happen to me.
For anybody, like even just like a girlfriend, a family member? Never. Wow, that's very interesting. So it has always happened to me. Like I may not have talked to somebody regardless of who they are or our relationship for a while. I think about them, then bloop. 2 days later, they calling me or they in my inbox somewhere. So the same thing just happened for there was an ex of mine, and I was talking to my friend, and he was like, "Yo," he said something about I would be surprised if such and such hits you up. Literally right after. Matter of fact, I want to either it was the same night or the next night. I get a text. Hey, just checking on you.
Don't check on me.
Wait, what? Wait, what? What you? And I had to tell. I was like, look what you did. You said it, and it happened, and it does happen to me a lot with other friends. Like you just ain't talked to my homegirl or a homeboy or even a guy that I talked to before in a while. And the second I think about them and say their name out loud, or I'm like, I wonder what such and such is doing. Days later, they hit me up. So I'm surprised that's never, ever, ever happened to you. If you're a listener, please tell us if this phenomenon has ever happened to you where you've not talked to somebody and they just pop up out of nowhere. So
I mean, it could have. I just can't think right now, but not nothing.
okay. Well, I don't think this was a cuffing season situation where he was checking on me. I do think he was genuinely just checking to see if I was okay. I've been going through a lot in the past few months. So I think that's all it was. But then it made me think like cuffing season is coming because now my inbox has just been exploding lately with people who want to go on happy hours or take me out. And I'm like,
Oh.
where are you guys all? Like, they're not new people. They're people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, we haven't attempted to go out or do anything in months. Like, why you even think about me? Like, what is it? And it's not like I haven't posted any new pictures, looking lickety or anything like that. So I don't know where it's coming from. I'm like, well, maybe it's scouting season. I don't know how that's broken out for the whole cuffing season thing. And I know there's supposed to be like for this month, it's this.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be the pre-game, pre-scout. I don't know. Maybe someone's trying to put me on a roster. I don't know. But uh it's coming, and I'm noticing the uptick a lot in the past week.
All right.
And it's kind of mind blowing.
Come on, coven season.
But for those of y'all that are hitting me up like, hey, I just I'm just a little taken aback. Like, what is going on that I don't know? But I have learned like I don't want to just not hang out with people. If they think it's gonna be like a relationship type thing, then you got to be upfront. Like, no, this ain't a relationship. But if you want to go to a happy hour, you want to hang out, we can do that. But I don't want to turn somebody down and maybe they could be reaching out for something else. Like, in all seriousness, they might be reaching out because they need someone to talk to, and I'm the last person, the resort that they're trying to talk to. Like, I don't want to be someone that just leaves them hanging, especially if they're
Okay.
their friends. So, do you have anything else about cuffing season or people hitting you up out of nowhere?
No, I will say that cuffing season is almost among us. I mean, it is getting cold, and we are in the midst of a pandemic, and you're gonna want to, cuddle with someone. So you may want to think about who you want to cuddle with, who you putting on your roster,
Mm-hmm.
who but I feel like if you do that, you should definitely be upfront and say this is for cuffing season. Like, don't lead nobody on that they think
Right.
they're going to be in a relationship, and then come March, you're like, this is
They
the
are in a
end.
relationship for like 4 or 5 months.
I mean, 4 or 5 months, and then you're like, yeah, this is cool for this time period. I just want to see.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, people, if you're gonna cuff somebody, draw out the contract, let them know what it is, and be
Be
upfront.
okay if they're not willing to
If they're not
cuff.
willing to get cuffed, go to the next. Someone
Go to
out
the
there
next.
wants to get cuffed. Absolutely.
Correct. Somebody.
All right. Well, now I just want to move on to something that maybe you have had experience with.
All right.
This is going to the workplace.
Oh,
And
Lord.
the guilty will remain nameless. But I have a coworker in particular that I can't tell, I can't read him, right? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
he's not a friend. He's definitely going to be in the coworker regardless. He's in the coworker category, never getting out of that. But I'm like, he be doing little things that are a little iffy, like little
Like,
sabotage-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. I let the first thing slide. The first thing was well, no, I didn't let it slide. I was really heated, but I didn't say nothing to him. It was a meeting. And y'all can tell me what y'all think. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. Because I've been working for the same organization for 11 years. I just started a new job a month ago. So it's new people. And even though my other job, it was 11 years, I was constantly moving to different offices. So it was new people. But this is all a completely new thing. So
Okay.
I could be over exaggerating. Y'all let me know. So this person, there was a meeting, and he came into my office and he was like, he sounded like his mom just told him to invite me to the sleepover. You know how someone really don't want to ask you something. So he
Mm-hmm.
came in and he was like, I mean, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but there's a meeting today at 1 o'clock. It's dealing with media. You may be speaking to the media one day. So if you want to come to the training, you can, but don't worry about it. If you don't want to go, if you're too busy, you don't got to go. And I was like, well, it's cool. I can go. I ain't really doing nothing today. I'm just sending out emails. I can go. I'll see you at 1 o'clock. Right. So here I am. I'm sitting here still sending out emails, doing my thing. And I look up and I'm like, oh, it's 12 o'clock. Let me go get lunch because I don't want to be in this meeting and then I get hungry all of a sudden. So let me go
Mm-hmm.
walk to the Mexican spot right around on the other side of the parking lot, give me a little something to eat. End up stopping by the bank too while I was up there, handle business. Real quick though. So I tried to leave and I realized I left my card in the office. So I had to go back to my office, get my card. I left my office at 12:17 because that's when I sent the last email to an
Okay.
attorney. 12:17. Remember that time.
All right.
I got back at like 12:40-ish. And I'm like, okay, I can eat my little food real quick, be ready for this meeting. I go to walk into his office right before, maybe like 5 minutes before the meeting. He's sitting there. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. The meeting was at 12 o'clock. I told you the wrong time. It was at 12 o'clock. Wait a minute.
First of all,
I
you specifically said one, and then you didn't even come back to say, "Oh man, I told her the wrong time. Let me go and tell her it's at 12 instead."
Thank you. See, that's why I didn't think it was on me. My friend was like, oh, it's an honest mistake. No, that wasn't no honest mistake. Because one, you didn't come by my desk to get me when you went to the meeting. You walked past my office to get to the meeting. There's no other in and out door. You walked past my office. Then when the meeting ended, you walked past my office again to go back to your meeting. I mean, to your desk. You could have, if I was gone, because like I said, 12:17 to like 12:40, I was not at my desk. Cool. You could have sent an IM. Hey, Ciera, I'm sorry. We just got back from the meeting. You weren't in your office. We stopped by. That was my mistake. Come over here. I'll give you the literature. Nothing. So I'm walking in there thinking I'm late. Like, where everybody at? There's nobody in the conference room
Mm-hmm.
empty. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. And that's how he kept saying, I'm like,
Are you
you
though?
ain't sorry though. And see, we have masks on. I wear my mask the whole time I'm at work. My facial expressions under here was like, because it didn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense. It didn't make sense. So I was like, oh, well, did you leave the little pamphlet on my desk? Because someone left one on my desk. He's like, he didn't. So not only did you not come and get me or stop by, the little take home little pamphlet that they gave
Mm-hmm.
y'all, you didn't even put it on my desk. The other girl who went to the meeting did. Because she said, oh, yeah, I left that on your desk. So, sir, that was terrible. So he's like, oh, I'll scan in the notes for you. I don't want the notes now. You could have
Right.
told
I
me.
don't want your notes. I'll get it from somebody else.
So, and actually she did send them and she had her notes and I was like, I'm gonna go in with her. But anyway, so that was strike one, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, I set up a meeting with an executive in one of the counties, large counties here in Maryland. And my organization has been trying to meet with her, but they've just been getting the general mailbox. We'll get back to you. Thanks for submitting this, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah. I know people. So I asked my girlfriend, hey, do you know a POC for this? She said, yes. I set up the meeting before I even reported to the office. So this is before August. This is July. So the meeting comes. We have a 9 o'clock stand up in the morning. My boss is like, hey, Ciera, I want you to come sit in on the meeting. Okay. He's like, yeah, you can you're going to Skype in so they can see your face. Da, 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 da. I was like, okay, I'm getting prepaid for the work that I did. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So old boy was supposed to send me the link. This is 9 o'clock in the morning for our stand up. Our meeting is at 1 p.m. This is what happens. 12 o'clock, my boss is like, go in there, make sure that we're going to make sure the Zoom works correctly. Make sure you can log into the system, blah, blah, blah. So we over here, we testing. And I was like, well, I don't have it on my calendar. He's like, oh, well, dude said he sent it to you. No, it ain't on here. He was like, oh, no, you sure? Because he said he sent it. I said, he didn't send it. It's not here. So then he had to come over and he's looking. So then when he sends it without the link. It's just the invite. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to click here, the Zoom click here? None of that was there. So I'm like, this dude, he trying me. This is the second thing in a row. And he comes in at like 103. And I'm going through like everything I can look to find this link. And I finally found it at like 101. So he comes in, knocks on the door. I was like, I got it. Because then I would have already figured out how to link in, even though his never came over. The other guys, the Chiefs did. So I'm like, this is what you do for a living. You set up visitations and meetings for our chief. How come you don't know how to send me a link so that
Or
I
you
can get
do.
on to talk to the executive of this county? That's two strikes. So today, this is strike number 3. Okay. Remind you, I started August 2nd. There's more people. And if y'all don't want to hear this, that's okay. It's juicy. It gets better, right? So we get a new person that comes in, and I think that old buddy is attracted to the new guy, the new person, right? And so he comes in our office probably every 30 minutes to check on this person. He's like, oh, this is how you do that. This is the leave calendar. You know, everybody knows how to open a leave calendar. You just got to know the name of the leave calendar, put it in there, and it opens it opens the shared calendar. I'm like, that's a Skype message. That's a phone call. You didn't have to come over here to talk to this person. Like, you did not have to do that. So just kept coming in. And then he came to my desk, y'all. Came to my desk, Ebony. And he said, I know I have nothing to do with what you do, but if you ever
you have nothing.
No, but listen, this is what he did. He said, but if you ever have any questions, I'm here to help you in any way that I can.
I've been here for how long?
Minute. Today, y'all, I know you guys are not going to hear this for a couple weeks, but today is August 30th. I started August 2nd. This is the very first time you have ever said you were going to help me, because the new person is here sitting right across from me. Now you want to be helpful? Now you want to help me? And I had a mask on again. I was like my face be just doing too much. I love my mask because people be acting crazy at work and I just be giving face, but they can't see it. So I was like, okay, I see how we doing things now. I'm watching you.
I see you. You see me. We see each other.
Yes, just like Nene and Candy, like we see each other. Like, I'm gonna be sweet. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I don't know if it's a thing where the only thing I can think of is I haven't done anything to him specifically. We don't do the same job. Maybe he didn't like that I was able to set up the thing with the executive, the meet and greet for the first time.
And some people are intimidated, right?
That could be it. And the only other thing I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's our chief is African-American. I'm the only African-American girl. Maybe he sees that I can be someone that he's going to take under his wing. He's taking me to luncheons. He's done other stuff with me. Maybe he sees that as a threat, but I'm like, we don't do the same job. I'm not taking your job.
But he probably not about his job, but like, man, I've been here for X amount of time and I haven't been able to get that close. You know, could be that too.
But that's trifling. You got to do stuff. You got to do stuff that's under the radar that make people kind of second guess. Like, was it this or was it that? Those things that he did were blatant. Like, you walked past, you didn't even tell me. And I can see if you forgot and you was rushing to the meeting. But when the meeting is over and you knew I wasn't in there, or when you walked in there and I wasn't in there, leave it posted at my desk. Hey, we missed you. We started at 12. Come in when you're done. Like, all of that was suspect. And I have a real good, I got a nice gut. I mean, I get that gut feeling when somebody just
discernment.
It's real. And so my question to myself was like, do I read him? Like, do I continue to try to read him and see where he's about? I'll just leave him where he at. And I've come to the conclusion, what we gonna do, y'all? We gonna leave him where he's at.
That's so nice of you. There's a couple of things that I would do.
What would you do?
The Christian part of me would pray, right? Pray for this person because I feel like that's the best option if I'm going the Christian route.
However.
So I am if I was in this situation, normally I am nice by default. Like I'll overlook it. But by the third time that comes around, I'm gonna let you know that I know. And
How would you let this man know that you know? Because this today, even though it wasn't anything bad, it was just like, bruh, I've been here a month. This is the first time you said something. So that really stood out. So I'm adding that as a third strike. So what would you say at this point?
I think that on the fourth strike, right?
The fourth
The
one next?
fourth
Okay.
one, when he does something, let's say I'm trying to think what he would do next, because he's been kind of like, you know,
Regardless, well, regardless of what, say he just say it's another meeting, or he's like, oh well, we have a meeting somewhere, but he don't tell me until like a minute before, 2 minutes before.
2 minutes before.
Yeah, right before he'll invite me to a meeting that I'm not gonna be able to prepare for. Because I feel like that's gonna be the next thing. Like I'm not gonna be able to read about the executive. I'm not gonna know who I'm on this call with or whatever. So that's giving me the information at the last minute, so I can't
So
prepare. That's
there's
the
two
thing.
things you can do. You can
Okay.
either say to him like, "Hey, did you not know the meeting was, an hour ago or 2 hours ago that we're gonna have a meeting? It'd been nice of you to tell me in advance."
Oh, so
Or
you nice nasty.
I would have. I feel like in these cases sometimes you have to be, or
Mhm.
like, because a lot of times when you are like direct towards them, it's nice nasty, but more direct towards them, they
Mhm.
start to back off because they're like, you know, didn't think you
Mhm.
were gonna say anything. But the other option, if I'm mad enough, I'll get on a meeting and I'm like, "That's kind of strange. I didn't know this meeting was this
Was
meeting
about to
was at this
happen.
time.
Be
But
like,
you want
oh,
to do it tomorrow?"
I'm very sorry. JJ just told me about this meeting. I'm unprepared, but how's everybody doing today? Like, no, I probably wouldn't do that. I feel like I wouldn't do that because then that looks to me, I take that on me.
Yeah, that's true. That's a little.
I think that'd be
But
a little too petty. I take
I
that on me.
think just addressing the person, because I mean, I've done that before where people have said something like under their breath, and I'm like, "Are you talking to me?"
Hmm.
And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Was that statement referencing me?"
Oh, I've done that a few times, and then they get quiet.
Quiet, and then nothing says nothing. So
Nothing to say.
yeah, in those instances, I try to be like very direct, like making sure we're clear. But
Right.
for him, you know what? I'm gonna
What?
scratch everything I just told you. Do something nice for him. Buy him like a cake or a cupcake or something nice and sit it on his desk.
All right.
He's the type. I just feel like I know, but I feel like he's the type that you're gonna have to kill him with kindness, because it's like I see you, so now I'm more aware. But I'm gonna be the bigger person. I'm gonna give you this cupcake.
This
I
is what
just
I
want to
want to
say
do. You know what I want to do?
what.
The person that I believe he's trying to hit on now that just started working for us and want to be all in the business. I want to find out like the real facts. I want this person to be married with multiple children and completely out of the league and be like, ha ha, guess what? I want to drop that bomb on him. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
You can do that too.
I just want to hurt his little feelings because I feel like he's doing too much. And I guess I could kill him with kindness. And that's kind of a mean thing to do. But I really do want to be the one to be like, look, you
You can
can't
bring
have
the
that.
cupcake over and be like,
I'm sorry. I just found out such and
"Here's a
such.
sweet treat. I just found out that,
Just so you know. So you can stop
Mhm.
coming over to our office because that's a no. But I'm like, I'm not petty usually. I'm really not. So that came to my mind. I was like, oh, that would be so good. Like, I feel like I would. Mm. But then I think during the execution, I would get scared and not do it because it would hurt their
See,
feelings.
here's the thing. I hate pettiness. I'm not a petty person, but it's like I'm a person. I let it go once, twice, 3 times. By the time I let you do it to me 3 times, I didn't got this thing in my head where I gotta come back with something. Like I gotta let you know I'm not the one or the two.
Mhm.
So I'm nice, but I'm not that nice, right? And at the
Mhm.
expense of myself. So
Right.
yeah, especially when it comes to work environments, it's crazy. It's like you really
Mhm.
I'm not, don't even try, you know?
Right. Well, I'm gonna keep y'all abreast and let y'all know what happens next, what
Mm-hmm.
I do, what he does, how it goes. We will not be friends. Because that just it's a little sneaky. He's a little
Yeah, don't be friends with him.
sabotage to me, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on in work. But then I also thought about something because I went in the bathroom, and I just want to talk real quick about bathroom etiquette in the workplace Some of y'all are working from home, so you ain't got to worry about it. But for those of y'all who still go to work in this bathroom etiquette situation, listen, for the females, do not, and I say do not go in the stall directly next to me, especially if you're doing anything beside a one. Don't do that. We've got like 5, 6 stalls. Spread it out.
Oh, you mean if somebody's doing a number 2 and they go in by you?
Yeah, if you're doing anything besides a number 1. So if you're doing a number 2, don't go by me. Matter of fact, even if you're peeing, there's like 6 stalls.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like seeing feet next to me. I don't like hearing urine next to me. None of that. Unless it's full, okay. But I don't like that. And one thing that I thought about while I was in the bathroom last week is somebody was doing it too. She won't buy me, but I knew it because I could smell it. Through my mask, I smelled it. It's not, we all do it. I ain't gonna hate on her. But if it smells like that,
At work?
Yeah, we all do number 2. So I'm like,
Not at work.
girl, listen, I have topped out at 4 times once in one day.
Oh, wow. I'm too much of a punk. I'm just like, I was like younger.
Nope, it goes out like when I eat. No, that's too much. Too much. We're not gonna go there.
And
But
if
anyway.
I gotta use the bathroom that bad, I'll go to like, I'm like, I'll take a lunch break, go to Target or something, and come back. I would not.
Really? Girl. So this wasn't me who did it, but somebody was. And there's 3 scenarios when you do a number 2. So either, and maybe because I'm a professional number 2er, I know all of them, but maybe either you can stay in the stall until the other people leave because you're like, okay, well, I'll just wait them out.
But what if you gotta go back to work?
You ain't never gotta go right back to work. Look,
I don't know.
Listen, you either gonna sit in there and wait until the people who are in there leave. That's one.
What if somebody else walked in?
That's when you got to be fast. If you come out, you have to be fast and you close the door behind you, like you push it closed so it looks like someone's in there. And then you just go when you washing your hands. So they're not gonna go in that stall because the door is closed.
Okay.
I'm giving y'all the tea. I mean, I'm giving y'all the etiquette so you can use this in your workplace. Number 2 is if you, and this is what the lady did. She came out, she washed her hands in 0.5 seconds. Like, I heard the soap dispenser, I heard the water, but there's no way she rubbed anything together. Like, zoom, zoom, and she was gone. That's 2. Like, you wait until someone's in a stall. Once you hear them in there, you dip out because they're not gonna see you. Now,
ma'am, I see your shoes. I know it's you.
She was all the way down there, so I couldn't see who. I really couldn't see. She was near the end. This is what I do. I start in the first stall, and every time I go to the bathroom, I go to the next one. It's like, okay. I just like to spread the wealth. This is number 1. This ain't number 2. This is a weird thing that I do while I'm in the bathroom. That helps me to see how many times I've actually gone. Am I drinking enough water? Because I made it to the 5th stall. Like, okay, I've been to the bathroom 5 times. I'm drinking a good amount of water. If I'm only on stall 1, Cece didn't drink enough water that day. Okay. It's a lot. Y'all learned a lot about me today. So that's number 2. Number 3 is if you just bold about it, like, yes, I dropped some logs, and you in there, you just washing your hands, and you come out, the other person in the style, like, so the person who did the number 2 comes out washing their hands, and then I will come out and they just smile at me like, hey, how you doing? And just hold a conversation like it was nothing because they're okay with their bodies. So that's the three ways you can leave a stall after you do a number 2 in the workplace. So Ebony has already said that she's not a number 2er in the workplace. She will go to the Target.
Now wait till I get home.
Wait till she get home or go to Target. And I have personally done all 3. Like, hey, come out, wash my hands really quickly, be gone. I've sat in there and waited till somebody was out.
Do you have one of those, what do they call them? Pooperies or like any of those with you?
So no, I don't bring one in. My old building, you weren't supposed to have anything like that because of sensitivities to smells.
Yeah, people. Mm-hmm.
But this new office that I'm in, they do have some in there, and it's not poopery. I don't even know what brand it is, but I will spray that. I spray 10 sprays just to be sure. I just keep spraying. I don't even know what scent it is, but they do have it in there, and I have used it multiple times. But without, like, back in my regular life when I didn't have that option. Yeah, I've done everything. You can't even have air freshener. Like, you can't have anything. Government's annoying sometimes because you're not supposed to wear perfume and colognes because some people are too strong. Mm-hmm. Too strong. So yeah. So I just thought about, just talking a little bit about bathroom etiquette because it just came up And I laughed. Like while I was in there, I just started laughing because I was like, she ain't wash her hands. She knows she ain't wash her hands.
But it's
So
the same thing. Like if you go to the airport and like sometimes when you go to the airport, it's really not a lot of people in the bathroom, but people do literally. You pass all the stalls. Like I purposely didn't want to be by nobody, and you pass all of them just to be by me.
right.
Like
It's
why would you
annoying.
do that?
It is annoying. So fellas, I'm sure you guys are the same way. You guys only have like usually what, one or two stalls. But when it comes to the urinals, I'm sure y'all don't want somebody standing right next to you. Um, and doing a number one. Like, I get it. So same thing in the females. Don't sit next to somebody else. Don't squat next to somebody else. Don't just go in there. Oh, and one lady, she went in the bathroom. I don't know what she did, and none of my business. But I do know she opened up the door and just walked right out. She didn't flush the toilet, so she didn't like use the
Mm-hmm.
toilet. But the fact that you touched the handle inside the bathroom and then walked out, that's nasty because somebody has done something with their hands and then touched that same thing. So
That's true.
yeah. But we're not gonna talk about bowel movements or anything like that anymore. I just wanted to talk about that because there's a lot of stuff's been happening at work, and it was just really funny when she ran out. I was like, "Girl, it's okay. We all do it. You gonna catch
I
me.
don't want you to see me.
You gonna catch me doing it one day. So let's all do it." But yeah, I do close the door behind me, like close it up. So the next person is definitely not gonna go into that one because they're gonna think somebody's already in it. So that's the secret, y'all. Um, but we did talk about a few little funny things, sketchy coworkers. We talked about the crate challenge, bathroom etiquette. We talked about Krispy Kreme. Um, but I know that we can't always just talk about like really fun things. Like every now and then we have to pay some reverence to things that are really happening in the world. So I just wanted to talk really, really quickly and just say that we, the Real Play Podcast, wants to send our prayers and our thoughts to all those impacted by first Hurricane Ida, by the
Yes.
Afghanistan, all the Afghanistan refugees, the families of those that were killed during the bombings, the American soldiers' families, anybody that's being touched right now, anybody who we're coming up on the 20 years of 9/11. And so that's hitting people who have been fighting this war in Afghanistan since not they haven't literally been fighting the war, but this has been a war for 20 years, the longest war. Um, and seeing everything that's happening over there is probably triggering a lot of people, causing more anxiety, causing depression again. PTSD is real. So for anybody who's been a service member, we thank you for your service. Anyone who is battling any mental issues right now because of what they're seeing on TV, we just pray for you. And we hope that you can get through this with family and friends. And if you can't use a family or a friend, always seek out true help. Therapists, like they're real people, they're going to help you. If you don't want to do that, find something that's going to bring you the peace inside. And in our case, that can be God. Your
Yes.
case, it can be whoever you look up to. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I
God
remember
in therapy.
God in therapy. Yes, I remember exactly where I was. Um, September 11th. School had just started because I'm in Arizona, so we had just got to class.
Oh wow.
So we were behind, and yeah, I remember that. Um, I do remember Hurricane Katrina and the craziness that happened, and
Mm-hmm.
this hurricane hit to what was it, 5 years to the day? It was
It's
2016, I think,
crazy.
to the day. And then all the Afghan refugees right now that are trying to get out, and the American citizens that are trying to get out, and the Taliban and the craziness that's happening. I'm trying not to watch the news, but there's this lady in my office who keeps it on CNN or Fox News all day. She's an early bird, thank goodness, because she leaves around 2. And once she leaves, I turn it to the cooking channel, okay? Because I can't.
Because I'm sure it's stressful. I
It
mean,
is.
it's we need to be informed, but it's a lot. It's We've been dealing with the pandemic. These are events, unfortunately, that has happened, before this pandemic. But it's just like stuff piled upon
Piling
stuff
on top.
on stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I pray for anybody that's battling, like you said, any type of mental illness, that's just having a hard time, that's just going through any of these things. Because I mean, honestly, you can be going through this hurricane and dealing with family in Afghanistan and dealing with the pandemic and dealing with COVID. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, just imagine those people who have those layers,
Mm-hmm.
multiple layers. And a lot of us have those layers. Like it's not like, oh well, I'm just dealing with the pandemic. It's like I'm dealing with the pandemic and then maybe my kids weren't in school,
Mm-hmm.
or a family friend got sick, or someone passed away, or I'm not making as much. I lost my job. And then, oh wow, I'm seeing all these hurt people, blown up people, children injured on
Mm-hmm.
TV. And it's a lot. Like it's really hard to keep your mind focused when
It
there's so
is.
much battling to get in and to
Mm-hmm.
disrupt you. So I have been trying to come up with the help of one of my great friends. I've been trying to come up with a night routine. I don't, like I said, I don't watch the news except for when I'm at work. And I've learned now, like that first week, I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't watching it, but you can hear it. And so even when you're working on something else and your back is to the TV, like subconsciously, I'm feeling like my brain was
Mm-hmm.
still absorbing it. So my anxiety was like on 1,000, and I could not figure out why. So what I've started doing is putting my headphones on and listening to music, listening to watching a show, or listening to a show while I'm working at my desk, because I'm like, I can't listen to this and it should be like, oh my gosh, this many soldiers have done this, or this is happening now. And so she's into it, or oh man, this many COVID cases are now. I'm like, girl, lady,
Unfortunately,
chill.
maybe about like 5 years ago, I had stopped watching the news because the news used to really stress me out. I used to watch because my dad, with me living alone, it's like, you need to watch the news, you need to watch the news. So
Mm-hmm.
I would start watching the news, and then I'm like, this news stressed me out. It's always somebody dying, somebody did
Mm-hmm.
something. So
Mm-hmm.
it's never anything positive. So I honestly do not watch the news. Found out a lot of stuff via social media, unfortunately, and I have to go do research or something like that. But
After the fact, right?
yeah, news is it's a lot.
So I don't watch it. What I do is my Google app will wake me up in the morning and it'll play certain podcasts, like Bloomberg podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 5 different podcasts that they send, and it'll say just highlights, and I can deal with the highlight. I can deal with the highlight. I don't want imagery. I don't want deep discussions over and over of anything. But I do feel like I have to know what to expect for my day, like what happened overnight. And it'll say stuff like, okay, this is happening in Afghanistan. And then, oh, Champlain Towers, this is happening. Out of this. And then they'll say, oh, okay, well, now we're talking about, they'll start talking about like a tennis star or something. Like they'll bring in something like entertainment wise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. Or they'll talk about money, something where it's not constantly like
Maybe
negative
I can
stuff.
get my Alexa. I think we talked about this one time before. Maybe I can get my Alexa to play like something in the morning or something, just the
Yeah,
highlights, because it
just the
is
highlights.
important if you live by yourself to be informed.
Right. I 100% agree with that. Like just know, you want to know like what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know all the details, but you need to know high level, like, okay, oh, they talking about an airstrike. Like you don't want to be at home and CNN is got some credible thing that somebody about to do something. Like you want to know that.
Right, or something's
So
going on with the weather, and everybody runs to the grocery store, and you don't want in your house.
you
Like,
sitting at your house like twiddling your thumbs. Like my line sister, she hit us
mm-hmm.
up yesterday. She's like, y'all go get some gas because they talking about they gonna turn off these lines between this state and that state because of Ida. And then my mom was like, oh yeah. And then I also heard on the news that they may not be able to bring, like trucks may stop for a while for certain
Oh well, let
things.
me go get some gas tomorrow, girl.
Yeah, see, so but I noticed when I was coming home from church yesterday, I was like, why is that Sam's Club line so daggone long? It was around the whole building. And that was in Catonsville area. But here, I went to Sam's Club just because I was getting some electrolyte drinks. I'm not trying to sponsor nobody, but some electrolyte drinks and a case of that. And I was like, why they lying long? I said, you know what? I live right by Sam's Club. I'm gonna go back out, but that's only because I have a quarter tank. But what I'm gonna say is like, if for some reason I can't get gas, guess what? I'm going to telework because I don't have anywhere I really absolutely have to go. And but I am right at a quarter tank because I do it once a week and it's Monday. I haven't done it yet. So I was like, oh, don't run out of gas. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the word on the street.
Okay.
People tell you, you have friends too, that maybe you have a friend who will watch the news. Yeah, that's what you could do. Someone who does watch the news and they can just give you the highlights of what they think you want to know, or the most important thing so that you don't have to bog your brain down with all the craziness.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I also fill my gas tank up when I get to a half a tank. I can't go below a half a tank. I get stressed out.
Okay. My light will come on. I don't care.
Get it.
I'll be driving and the light come on and my car will be like, it'll, you can't even change the station anymore. It'll be like, find gas. I'm like, okay, ignore, you got to press okay in order for you to be able to change the station on the music. I'm like, I get it. And it'll pop up like all the close gas stations to try to GPS you right there.
They're like, no, this is important.
Yeah,
Get you some gas.
my dad said never let it get below a half a tank, but sometimes that's just what happens. And
I'm from the
that's okay
South,
with me.
and places are like long distances, so it's like, I can't be walking.
But you in the city now?
Still can't walk.
You ain't gonna walk because then. Well, I know for my place, they will come in unlimited times a year and fill up your tank if you run out. They told us that. I was like, that's what I get from certified pre-owned. Yes, sir. But I haven't used it. I've never ran out of gas ever in my life. But yeah, because you can, once it gets to like well, most cars can tell you how many more miles they have.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get to like a quarter tank or the light come on, you still got about a good 20 miles?
Yeah, mine tells me, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Well, go ahead and get your gas, girl. If you need gas, get your gas. That's what's the word on the street. I haven't heard it on the news, but that's what I've heard from friends and from my mom, and I'm sure they've gotten from credible sources or somebody who said something. So,
I'm trying to get that in the morning.
Yeah, I might run out. Well, I do need to run out and do something else, and I have to drive past Sam's Club. So if there's a line, I'll get it tomorrow. But if there isn't a line, yeah, because it's my time for I should have done it yesterday because it was Sunday, but I saw that other line. I was like, oh no, she not sitting in that. So anyway, but yeah, so we did want to just highlight on a few things that are happening in the world because yes, the Real Play podcast is here for some entertainment, but at the same time, we also hear about what's really happening in the world. Like we want you guys to know that we know what's going on. And if you guys ever want to talk about a specific topic, like if you want to talk more about what's going on with the hurricane, or memories about September 11th or how that impacted you after the fact, or maybe some people even picked careers after what happened in September 11th. Like they were probably going to go a different way. And all of a sudden, like, no, I want to do this because I want to give back to my country, and decided they wanted to go into the military. So like, let us know your story. If any of these topics around the world have impacted you in any way.
Yes.
That was a yes. But do you have anything else, Ebony, before we close this out? I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else on this list of just random topics that we were going to talk about today?
Trying to think of anything that I wanted to discuss on the podcast today. I can't think of anything. Today is Monday, so there's that too.
Today is Monday. I will say one of the topics that we did talk about to come in the future, just as a small little teaser, there's 2 topics that we still have on this list here. Right. And one is letting friends stay with you. As adults, not as, college students, but as adults.
And we should talk about what do you guys feel about having a roommate after 32, right? Because there's a difference between letting a friend stay with you and actually having a roommate after 30.
So yeah, we're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode. And then also marriage and monogamy, or should we say, what's up with polygamy? Is it a thing? Are we into it? Are we not into it? Is it a real thing? Like, is it? So you definitely have to check in with us in the next upcoming weeks because those 2 topics are something that will be hitting the airways soon. Yes. Just a little teaser.
Let us know how you've enjoyed the past couple of episodes. We've been spicing it up, doing a little something different. And thank you guys for listening.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.